Welcome to today's collective reading. Today's reading, I received the download and it's pretty intense, as you could tell from the title. So if you resonate with this title, this has impacted your life. It has touched your heart. It has impacted someone you loved, someone you cared about. Maybe you lost them. Maybe you still have them in your life, but they are not who they were before this occurred. So this hits home for you. It hits you where the very foundation of love resonates within you every day. You maybe don't focus on it every day, but it's always a part of you. And this being so intense, there is a bit of a resistance within me to do this, to channel this intensity, because there's so much emotion, so much soul level pain coming through that the divine is asking me to be a voice for. Everything in your life, every moment, every interaction, every challenge, every beautiful moment and every perceived failure, there was a silver lining in it. You were aware of yourself while you were living this, while you were experiencing this. And there were those teachers, those rare few in your life that you knew cared about you. Even if it's one person, one individual, they taught you who you were when you felt safe. That, once you know that, once you know your love for who you are, that you matter, not because of the car you drive, the clothes you own, who you know, that you're not your job, you're not even a role, you're not the son or the father, the mother, the daughter, the aunt, the grandmother. Who you are, unique within you, was seen and loved, appreciated, valued, and space was made for you to be that with them, regardless of all of that. You have someone like that in your life, this message will resonate for you. I know that being an American, I have a very deep connection in my life to 9/11. But I know America, being American and being of America, that we're not the only people that something like that happened to. There were bombings in Europe, in the subways. I know that. I know that there are travesties that are happening all over the planet right now. And people that we love are being impacted by that. Wherever you happen to be listening to this, you can resonate with the truth regardless of country, regardless of the culture you were born to. You can resonate with that truth, that someone gave you space to be you and allowed you to understand then what the world looked like from that perspective. And from that perspective, when you hear about these things happening, you can see yourself, you can feel yourself, experience these things as if they were you. So when 9/11 hit, the song that resonated through me, it's been redone. It originally was done by Simon and Garfunkel, but it's been redone into more of a modern rock song. And that song, it resonates through me. It vibrated through me because it was anything but quiet. Just like the aftermath of something like that. It is anything but silent. There is so much chaos, but if you're able to be aware as you move through your day, because of that part of you that you understand, you're able to see, you're able to feel, you're able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Once you're able to do that, no matter how much you want to, a part of you is aware of it. You can have it dialed up to maximum volume, or you could have it on 0, and yet you are still aware of it beyond what you can perceive living in this physical reality. For example, the chakras. We're mainly aware of 7. The root, the sacral, the solar, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. But there are more than that. There are more than that are beyond our physical ability to perceive. When you're able to interact with the soul star chakra, the universal chakra, like your earth root, heart of the earth chakra, you have become aware of more than the human 3D, typical, this dimension level awareness. This will resonate for those that have been able to unlock that. And you have that invitation unlocked, that awareness unlocked, once you're seen for who you are outside of everything else and space is made for you. You are safe within that. When someone has gifted you that, it is an invitation to know your experience, your power on a deeper level. So every time I would see something like this, but specifically for me because it really resonated with my life. So do feel free to interchange this. If this is resonating for you and it's not 9/11 because you didn't have a family member or a whole group of people that you love that were impacted by it, interchange it. It's about the subway bombings in Europe and all the people that you love around that. The emotional chatter that these individuals were experiencing before this moment hit. The worry about the laundry, the bills, what's going on with the kids, what am I going to do, about getting a ride to soccer after work, that kind of chatter stopped. Everything stopped. Every single being became hyper-focused in the now. There was complete chaos. It was not quiet. But internally, in the mind, in the heart, in the soul, fully in the moment. What do they teach us about manifestation? They teach us that when you're present in the now and you're hyper-focused on what is going on around you and where you're giving that focus to, you create it. What they did, this is literally saying that this happened. There's a reason they call it terror. They did this because who knows? I'm not going to put a name on it. I'm not going to put a label because it's not about blame. It's not about who is responsible. In this moment, it's about you and where do you give your focus to? Because what this was, the intention was to do this, was to create this level of hyper-focus with the intention of creating fear, the ability to control, and the ability to manifest more terror, to give over all of your will to create what they wanted you to, whoever they may be. I would like to just kind of put like a label on it that could be general, that we can all relate to. What happened was wrong. What happened was evil. What happened, there's karma to it. Because nobody going about their day worrying about things like what they're going to do after work, what they needed to get at the grocery store, they didn't deserve that. And that's just the initial impact. That's just the initial impact. What they did not anticipate, was the amount of love that existed within each and every person that moment belonged to. Because they don't understand love. That is where they dropped the ball. So know this. They didn't expect this ripple effect as a result. This ripple effect is me saying something that so many of you have known but haven't had words for. And maybe you have, you just haven't had someone to talk to about it. Please do excuse they're mowing the lawn outside my apartment right now. And that may be a bit of a metaphor. It's trimming. It's keeping everything level, keeping everything unique, like taking away all the uniqueness, making it all, no dandelions are allowed. No uniqueness is, that's not human. That's not how human beings are. That's not how we work. We are at our strongest when we value the diversity amongst us. When we nurture that uniqueness. Because we all have something to contribute to the whole. Every single one of us is aware of who we are uniquely. Every moment in our life has formed who we are right now, and we have something to contribute. There is love in every moment of my life, even in the worst moments, because I was aware of myself. I was not alone. So when these things happened, they wanted us to manifest more terror, more lack of empowerment. Instead, we honored the love. We didn't know necessarily consciously where this was all going, but that was a turning moment in our lives. Collectively. Every time something like that happened, the entire collective, the entire planet felt the ripple. The more aware you were, the more that you helped to alchemize, heal, transmute, so that the next ripple, and the next ripple, and the next ripple. What they didn't recognize was that we weren't giving up, we weren't laying down, we were optimizing. We were becoming more efficient at spotting, seeing, understanding from the mind, the soul, the consciousness, the manifestation. We were waking up as a result at the polarity of the manifestation of good and evil, light and dark. I believe that good will always triumph over evil. Oh, evil will do what it can to try to convince you otherwise. But wherever there's light, the darkness will recede. It will retreat. For the ripple effect of these instances, these moments. I was a teenager when this happened. My dad was a soldier. He came back from war a completely different person. He was still him, but it changed him. And I mourned for him with him because he mourned that part of himself. And he bore that weight as being an older soldier, responsible. He felt responsible for everyone around him. He was a really good man. And I was very blessed to know him. But he was not perfect. And that's part of why I'm so blessed. No one's perfect. It's why you love them. Whether the individual in your life that you love, that you know is directly impacted by this, changed forever as a ripple effect, there is still love in those moments where it was resonating within you. the dissonance of the experience, and yet you chose to rise above it, to be love. It's so easy to fall into the terror, the hatred, the rage, to acknowledge it. That is healthy. That is needed. But instead of becoming an angry, bitter, vengeful being, I chose love instead. And there are many of you tuning in right now that have done the same. For that individual, you were going to be present for them. You were going to treat them no different. You were going to respect them. You're going to be there for them. You're going to be authentically present with them because they were still safe with you. Outside of their titles and their roles, you were still making space for them. That is what they don't understand. If I were to break this down to a more basic concept of something that we could all somewhatly relate to, it's the concept of the malignant narcissist. There are people that are narcissistic, that are benign. I'm talking about the malignant narcissist, where if they observe love, it enrages them because they don't understand it. They want to attain it and control it, dissect it, and figure it out. But they can't. They can't. They're too busy being in their own way. It is the difference between the super empath and the malignant narcissist. Drastic polarities. And then there's all these different degrees in between on this bell curve. You don't need to be the superest of super empaths. No, it's a whole collective right now. And the malignant narcissist does not understand love. So they developed what they thought was a weapon to use against us as a collective, to get us to be their weapon of destruction, like to get us to fall on our own sword. In other words, they wanted us to hurt ourselves because they thought they figured out how to make us do it. What they don't understand is love. It begins with the love of self. You have to be aware of yourself. And once you love yourself, it blooms out there from you. It's a ripple effect. There's a lot of talk in the community about 5D and New Earth and the separating of timelines. There's a lot of talk about that. And some of it could be really, really scary and doom and gloom. And then there's this whole talk about how, something about, we have to create the coming of Christ again to make this happen. And it's all, like, that particular conspiracy it's all rooted in greed and money and the cost of lives on a spreadsheet with dollar signs. That level of corruption. They think that they're controlling this. And I got a little bit of a chuckle right now come through. And I kind of agree. These are mortal beings thinking that they are above the divine. That they are wiser, more powerful than the most powerful experience that humans have ever known. It's why we have so much art. It's why we have dance and poetry and music and painting and sculpture. They think that they are more powerful than love. When you can look at someone who has been cruel to you and understand, maybe it's just like a brief interaction, and it was a desperate cry from the light, their inner child, their innocence within them, that goes, oh, you have light within you, you understand love, I need more love. And that part of them acts just like any child would. Throws a tantrum, is mean, bullies you. Kind of like when you like a girl or a boy likes you, they tease you when you're kids. They bully you. They don't know what to do. So they're mean to you. And you take that moment and you go, I understand that all of this hurt, all of this trauma, all of this background, it's not really who you are underneath all of it. I want to get right to your light and let your light know that I see it. My light recognizes yours. That is to me what Namaste means. The divine, the love in me sees the love in you, and I recognize you. I validate your presence. I know that I am validated by you recognizing that within me. It is saying hello to the divine within one another. So these mortals think that they can outwit that force, that they are more powerful, that hate is stronger than love. It's not. Hate does not hurt. It does not maim, murder, rape, steal, kill. It does not traumatize. It does not disrespect. Love does not do these things. Hatred does. The very core of who we are, when we are born, the first time we open our eyes, the first moment where we have a memory form, and we can look back on it as adults. We were aware that we wanted to be in a state of joy, a state of happiness, a state of love. Even if that first memory was a horrible memory, we were aware of the lack of what we wanted, the absence of it. We are all born in that state. We are not born malignant narcissists. We may be born, some of us, benign narcissists. But malignant literally is cancerous. It is killing self. As a collective, those that are waking up right now, those that are awake already, those that are hearing me and are like, yes, someone is the channel for this, and it has been needed. These words, this space, this voice has been needed. It's not mine. It is that of the collective. It is that of love present within each and every one of you, because you are creating this. It is coming through me. The divine, the love in me, sees the love in you. We are connected. We are not separate. We are unique, but we are connected. And it's time for that hearing of the words to click into place. Because what comes next is reflection, is going within, is listening to that love within you, digesting it. It's not about what I say. It's about what you say. It's about what you think, about what you feel, about what you want to create. Yeah, you may not be thinking about what's on your grocery list. You may be so stuck in this sound of silence space in that moment, but I have the country song about the lyric of a sucker punch coming from somewhere way out in the back. You rattled this dog's cage. And now you get to know what fireworks are. Now you get to understand. You get to see what you started. You thought that you were going to get, like they thought that they were going to get us to fall on our own sword? Nah. we as a collective, because we connect to love. And I'm not talking about the malignant narcissist. Even the benign narcissist can see and appreciate love even if they don't understand it. It's similar to the concept of being able to maybe turn that dial to a -1, because those that are at 1 can't cope or deal with or accommodate the decisions that need to be made in order to protect the collective. But the collective helps them transmute it. Just because you're identifying as someone who's narcissistic does not mean that you're locked in as being evil. You could do a lot of good by helping a lot of people understand how to break free from the malignant narcissist. You are a blessing in disguise. Those around you and your challenge is to remain humble. To remain humble because this is beyond you, and it's beyond me, and it's beyond all of us as individuals. It is about all of us as one. That is powerful. That love present. To acknowledge that within one another, to see it, to be able to see someone who could be narcissistic, benign narcissistic, and open their eyes to the concept that they're not. That they could do the work in this life right now to be born not like that, to not be born in a state of narcissism. You're not outside, you're part of. So they've wakened us. They've poked, they've sucker punched this collective. They didn't understand what they started. And now we're fireworks. We're not just attacking and biting. And no, we're bringing light to situations. And through light, many different, fireworks, just like fireworks, they're all different kinds of colors and all different kinds of shapes. And people, they gather and they celebrate, at least in the States. And I'm imagining that there's probably similar celebrations in other cultures and countries. Like I have this, it's coming to mind, like the parades with like the floats and the dragons and the sparklers and the drones and the lights and the dancing of all of that beautiful synchronization. It's a celebration of freedom, of being independent. And it's apparent that we've been asleep. We've become somewhatly complicit. And when that sucker punch came out, and I'm not assigning it to anybody in particular. It's a force. It's a they. It's not, it's this person or that person, or no, it's a thing that has been happening all over our planet. It is global. It is not one individual or one group. And if it is a group or an individual, it is a no face. We have no idea who they are. That's how they want it. If you don't know, you're going to be more scared. You're going to be more easy to control. Why give to that? Why? We outnumber them vastly. Vastly. In fact, they're hoping that we harm ourselves as a result of what they've done. They need us. We don't need them. And if we did need them, it was to wake us up to this. Because it's time to celebrate our freedom and our liberation again. In the now, in the present moment. It's not about necessarily like, all right, well, let's do this. You want to duke it out. The sucker punch thing. It's not necessarily about that. Yes, it can be. It can definitely be about taking physical action, but it's controlled, it's surgical, it's justifiable, You have everything you need to back it, to make it legitimate. It's not something that's done in the dark. It's something that's done in the light, where everybody can be aware of it. And the whys and the hows and the who. Because we can't afford to have our head in the sand and pretend like we're not being hunted by that lion and we're the ostrich. You know, object permanence. They think that the lion disappears if they can't see the lion. That's just not how the physical reality works. It's a reason why that metaphor is present. It is still there. Now, what this lion, being they or them or whatever this predator may be, because I don't want it to be associated with anything like, you know, whatever lions mean to an individual. The lion is, it's its nature in the wild. So I'm not vilifying lions. It's a metaphor. Same with the ostrich. It's a metaphor. What this predator is looking to do is take advantage of that. But what that predator doesn't see is that you or us, we're many. We're also the birds. We're also the air. We're the earth. We're the sun. We're in everything. We're not separate. All of the environment is aware of what's going on. And they think they're pulling one over on us because this particular aspect of us is perceived to have a vulnerability. The divine is a being that is beyond anything that we can possibly comprehend as incarnated beings with egos and personalities. And I say egos because your ego is not your enemy. If your ego is currently working against you, meaning it wants you to do things that are bad for you and you know it, it's got this negative, critical voice inside of you, it's an unhealed ego. If your ego wants you to do things that are uncomfortable but good for you, that's a healed ego. Very different. From that perspective, we can be humble to the concept of something much larger than us than we don't understand. This predator doesn't understand that it could never be more powerful than the being that created it. And what I'm hearing, and it's come through a couple times in the last week, the phrase, and I don't necessarily ascribe to this to myself. I would not speak to my own children this way. But this is not from a human perspective. Okay? So, I brought you into this world and I can take you back out of it. Like you know that kind of phrase, right? Like, I can uncreate what I created. It's my creation. You're not driving the ship. I am, is what the creator is basically saying. Like, I got this. So no matter where you are in this moment, there's a silver lining in the situation. There is a solution. There is a outcome. As long as you continue to feed that light and see it in others and give to that in them, simply by acknowledging them. You don't necessarily have to donate all of your income if you encounter someone, or if you encounter someone who's got a good cause and is asking for donations. You give them your time. You acknowledge what they're doing. It's about love. It's not about money. Money comes as a result of supporting the love. It's there to make it possible to grow. Love comes first, not money. Money comes to support it. It comes after. And thus it actually perceives to come together. at the same time. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, know that you're not alone in changing the scenario. And as long as you remain open to that love, that light within you and seeing it in others, you remain connected to that. Your voice is heard. Voice, not necessarily what the ego or the personality wants to speak to. I'm talking soul level. Just as when, this is tying back to the beginning of the reading, how it opened. Your voice, the voice of the individuals, of the souls, in that moment of the sound of silence, complete chaos. But there was no more chatter about random everyday things. Little things fell to the side. They didn't matter anymore. In that moment, what really mattered? More than likely it was, am I okay? And can I get to the people I love? Are they safe? And if you are of the few that are capable of thinking beyond that, like you're good in crisis, some of us, we just freeze. Then it would be, how do I help the person next to me? And then snap them out of that freeze state so they can help you help more. What they did not realize they were doing was arming us, not to use it against ourselves, but to choose to wake to those that would use us in such a way to manipulate the direction in which we choose to give and show love. This isn't about a country, a continent. It's about the planet. We are all on this planet. We are all on Gaia. We are all on Earth. This is one ship. We're stuck here. This is the best place for us to be. Yeah, we could go to Mars. Sure, we could go to the moon. But wow, it would not necessarily be the greatest experience. The changes that would occur in our physical bodies, our genetics. Guys, we have the perfect place to be right here. We have to figure out how to not give to fear and terror and chaos. How to appreciate that it's there, learn from it, and then choose. Choose to not empower and perpetuate it. And sometimes that comes across as a being, a force, an individual, like maybe it's a pillar in your community. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's your dad. It's someone that allows you to be the child. Well, they're the adult. And maybe you don't like them. Maybe you're not happy with what they do. But just like when I was a kid, because we've all had a moment like that, where we're like, you know what, when I grow up, I'm not going to talk to you. I hate you right now. And it's over something simple and small, and we're teenagers and we're emotional. It's so not true. And as the parent, we kind of chuckle and we go, all right, well, we'll see how that plans out, because I don't believe you at all right now. But it's cute that you're so upset. I love you too. That was pretty much my parents' response. Completely deflated it entirely. And I knew they were right. However this may be in your world, and it may be multiple layers of it. And maybe you are that person. Maybe you are the leader. Maybe you are the parent. Maybe you are looked to contain others, to help them know what to do and give them direction so they can cope with what's going on better. Maybe you are that leader. But I'll tell you this. The reluctant leader is the leader that you are going to want to follow more than one who is, yes, let's do this, because the reluctant leader does not see themselves as above you, better than, or is getting off on it. The reluctant leader is the individual who feels like no one else will do it, so they must. Because they're not going to let, so-and-so or such and such, because they already know that's not going to go well. And I'm like talking from a perspective of, say it's like a project in school, and you're like, wow, this person is just not going to get me an A. They're not going to give me an A. So how do we want to do this, guys? Like, that's the leader that you want to follow. Someone who considers themselves as one of you, but doesn't really want to be the one leading. Reluctant. That containment, sometimes they won't like it. Sometimes it won't be a good experience. Sometimes things won't work out. And depending on who you listen to, you could be being lied and deceived about how things went down. When you move from love and you don't feed the chaos, you go directly to that person and you go, hey, this is what I heard. And before I get all invested in that as truth, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to know your perspective. And maybe it's of a level where talking directly to them, you wouldn't feel confident that they would be being honest because they would stand to gain too much from it. Maybe you'd want to go into that interaction with some research under your belt and allow them to prove their honesty by giving them opportunities to tell on themselves. And when they prove that they're authentic and truthful, then you can trust it. We can't just be in a state of passive. No matter where we are, no matter what part of this we are in the awakening to this, like, we have to become balanced. We cannot just be willing to act. We have to be willing to receive. We have to be able to observe, understand, know, and then decide to act. To wait for the information, to take the time to not go into a battle, as my dad would say, half-cocked. Like, you don't have all the information, and when it's all done and the dust settles, and you then have all the information, there's karma in hurting people that didn't deserve it. There's karma in maybe bungling a whole situation because the information you had was false or half the story. We have a responsibility to one another because we're on this planet and there's nowhere else to go. We cannot afford for tyrannical, corrupt, horrible, evil things to be allowed to continue. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be like overthrown or anything like that. It means that we need to work as a group. We all have something to contribute. The solution isn't to make us cookie cutter. It's to allow each and every one of us to flourish to an extent that we can contribute our greatest and best selves to the scenario to make this world a better place to be, a better place to exist, a more prosperous place to grow and evolve. And yes, I mean evolve. Because we cannot remain on planet Earth as a species and continue to survive. We have to have that diversity in order to grow beyond this planet. And that means that we're going to need to be balanced, so we're not warring with one another and giving to chaos and terror and atrocities being visited upon people that don't agree with us en masse. We have to stop this nonsense. And that was very much like the feminine aspect of the creator, like the mom voice. Like, you are hurting one another. Why? How do we stand to gain from this as a species on this planet with nowhere else to go? It's not about your ego. It's not about mine's bigger than yours. This planet doesn't just belong to one person, and they're not the only one who lives here. We have very, very strong, capable leaders that if they saw eye to eye on this, and they understood that the diversity, their uniqueness, their difference could be celebrated, but that means there's not going to be an oppression. There won't be a space for chaos and terrorism and violence in mass to be tolerated, because it affects all of us. It is a rare soul that can go through such travesties their entire life and choose to walk the path of love in spite of all of the reasons to choose hate. That is a rare soul, and that individual has a lot of wisdom that the world could benefit from. That person needs to have a microphone. That person's voice needs to be heard. And if you identify as someone like that, who has been through a lot, and you still choose to see the best in people and situations, but you don't close your eyes to the red flags before you, you are balanced, and the world needs your voice. You may be a reluctant leader, but that means you're the best leader. And you will know when it's time for you to step up, because you're not alone in creating your path before you. The Creator has a plan to all of this. It's to bring balance, always to bring balance. And that is what's happening right now. It looks like chaos. But it's similar to the TV show, the movie, Twister, the original one with Helen Hunt in it. When she finally gets her device placed perfectly and all her little sensors go up into the tornado and all of that information is coming in. That is what each and every one of us are. Each and every one of us. That tornado is the predator, them, they, and it's somewhatly a force of nature. We are learning. We have been learning. All of us. The divine knows what's going on. There are certain laws to nature, especially in this physical reality. You go outside and there is Fibonacci sequence and pi and every leaf, every blade of grass, everything, there is math to it. There is a system within the system, and with every decision that you make, you can make another decision. And that other decision creates a completely different timeline, but which one do you choose? When you come to a crossroads and you know that you could suit up for battle, or you could decide, maybe I should do a little more research before I do that. Maybe I need to get a couple more things in place before I exercise this because I really want it to stick. You maybe want to charge into that. But if you're going to do it, you want that to be something that is actually not going to have to be done again, right? When you're at that crossroads, you're already assessing possible outcomes for either path. Which one do you choose? If you choose the one that resonates the strongest for you, there's a reason for it. Resonates as in, yes, there's a warrior spirit within you that wants to go to battle and wants to take care of that threat and wants it to be something that's neutralized so you and those you love are safe. But if you haven't done your homework, you haven't done everything, you don't have all the resources in place quite yet, are they really going to be safe in the long run? These are just examples. It's not necessarily even what's happening right now. But you've been in this situation. You've been in a dynamic that's similar or the same. In that, you are already practicing what it is to pretty much be a quantum computer yourself. We're quantum beings. We're able to project what the most likely outcome will be if this or that. It's like, if I touch the stove while the stove is on, it's going to be hot and my hand will get burned. I could choose that. That's a very basic timeline. Or I could choose not to touch the stove when it's burning and not have that burned hand and like possible nerve damage and, you know, have to tell people this is why, because I just didn't learn, you know. I didn't listen to my mom or my dad or my sibling that said don't do that. So now I have this scar. It's a reminder to listen. There's always a silver lining. Always. It's that individual may feel a little bit silly or bashful or insecure, self-conscious. There we go, self-conscious about that. But it is a reminder every day. And that reminder is there for a specific moment in your life of great pivotal weight. And that scar will save you from making a decision that you don't really want to live that timeline. There is always a silver lining. And our silver lining is we're not falling on our own sword. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I'm giving my focus. I choose love. I choose to give to the good. I choose to believe that good will always win over evil, that hard work pays off. There's a country song. There's a lyric in that. If you could think of it, definitely comment below if you feel called to. But like a lot of songs come to me at times, specific aspects of them really resonate because in music there's resonance, and it speaks to generations and it crosses generations. Excuse me, it's art. Our history is important, and we deserve to be able to preserve that and to not have it be profited upon greedily. It is something that belongs to all of us, not a select few. We are one being. We are collective. We are at a space in our development as humanity on this planet where we are responsible for the stewardship of this planet, and we need to start working as a group with that. Because when we work apart from one another, we are destroying this place, this beautiful place that we live, and there's nowhere else to go. If we go somewhere else, it's temporary and it's awful. We just don't have the science yet. Now, maybe there could be some amazing, alien intervention, and they can have the science and they can help us. But they don't have to do that. And frankly, are we grown? Are we going to rely on that? Or are we going to seek to take care of ourselves and not rely on that? Because even if it sounds really far-fetched or very concrete, are we capable of being independent? Are we capable of striving for that? In spite of all the odds, are we capable of choosing love? To see how we are all connected. And that's where I'm giving my focus. In and amongst my grocery list, in and amongst my bills and what's going on in my life and my family, my health, I am focused on that balance coming into play. I am not saying that we need to become one global government. Gosh, no. I'm saying we need to value the diversity and work together, not in opposition. We've gotten to a point in our evolution where greedily pursuing money is malignant because it's at the expense of lives and love. There are too many of us for that to still be something that is considered the end-all, be-all authority. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'm not necessarily comfortable myself personally with that, but this is what's coming through. So Money does not give you the right to do what you've done. Like, this is to the predator. Just because you have the most money in the room doesn't mean you have the right to tell any of us what to do, or who to be, or what to love. Because money can be taken away. Money is... you can't take it with you when you die. It's temporary. It's temporary. Love, that goes with you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And even if you don't believe in karma, or even if you don't believe in reincarnation, I believe in karma. If you don't believe in reincarnation, that's fine. But if you believe this is one life, that's all you get, and you're on your deathbed, are you going to want to have regrets? Are you going to go, I spent my whole life in the pursuit of money, and as a result, all these people suffered, including me and those that I love? Was it worth it? Did I enjoy my life? Do I wish that maybe I had done things a bit different? Love is what matters at the end of your life. It's having at least one person there at your side who makes space for you outside of your titles, your history, your name, your identity, all of it, everything. Just you as a consciousness, one person. You are the richest individual for having one person like that at your side. Incredibly rich. If you have many like that, you're a king, you're a queen. Having a lot of commas in your account and the ability to make decisions about who goes to the front line on your deathbed, nobody cares. And I say nobody because the person that you are is someone who is not necessarily going to be able to make space like that for somebody else. So why would they make it for you? You have a transaction then. You have bought your family, you have bought your kids, it's all about the will, all of that. It's empty. It's empty. Having money doesn't make you evil. That is not what the moral of that is. It's speaking to those individuals that make choices like that and are able to sleep at the end of the day. That it doesn't weigh on them. That it's not lost on them. That it's lost on them. Having a lot of money, you could do a lot of good in this world with it. It's yours, it's your prerogative, it's your choice where you give your energy. Money helps. I'm not going to say that it doesn't help. Having currency and wealth helps to improve quality of life. It doesn't make you evil by default. It gives you an opportunity to improve lives around you, even if you don't want direct credit for it. And if you do, great. But when it comes down to it, are you there at that soup kitchen? Are you wanting that direct interaction with someone, acknowledging them, seeing the light in them and their light recognizing yours? If you're in a position like that, you're in relationship with the divine within you, and you have an internal locus of control. How others view you, they're outsiders looking in. They don't know you, and they're not in the relationship with the divine within you. They can have their opinion. That's their karma. It's not about you. You define who you are. You are the one that has to sleep with yourself at the end of the day and has to be on that deathbed going, yeah, I've been blessed to have not just people around me that make space for me to be just me. just a unique consciousness, an awareness of self. And also have enough wealth to be comfortable in this moment, to know that the people around me that make this space for me are going to be comfortable. It's not a tool to subjugate, control, or use. It's a means to perpetuate the love beyond yourself, to support it beyond yourself. So being wealthy does not make you evil. What you do with it does. And this message, right now, with that lawnmower right there, it's the divine coming through to those of you who feel like you maybe are that individual who is hearing this and going, I'm the one who's made decisions like that. Are you malignant or are you benign? Are you getting off on it? Or are you making the decision so that the rest of the collective that can't go into the negative awareness can help transmute you what you've had to do, the decisions you've had to make that can help you process that? I'm getting a high tone in my left ear right now. So that's confirmation. That's validation. You are not evil. For those in the collective that are identifying as they listen to this as malignant narcissists, the divine is also making that space for you to know that even you can come into the light. Because you've received this message and you can choose to do different. You could choose to be on your deathbed and have some authenticity around you and it not be about transaction. That's the beauty of love. It's beyond us. That energy is beyond me as a person, as an ego, as a personality. That energy, that being, can still have sympathy, empathy, love, make space for even the malignant narcissist. But there's always respect for the malignant narcissist's free will. Always respect for free will. It is your choice. It is your choice. Now, evil doesn't care about your free will. Evil doesn't care what you want. Evil will do what it wants, regardless of what you want. And that's what we're standing up against. That's that sucker punch. It picked the fight and it thought that we would harm ourselves. Instead, I choose to focus, as I know that many in the collective are doing the same, or this message would not be coming through, and this is to reach even more. To choose on love, to choose to focus on balance, to choose to focus on there becoming harmony in and amongst the diversity. To help those of us that are crying out for help early enough that it doesn't become a lifetime of pain for them. The example there, and then I'm being led to close the reading. The example there is the child that's acting out in your community, for example. Say that their parents are kind of absent, or they're drug addicts, or they're drunkards, or maybe like they're abusive, whatever it may be. I have a specific flash of like a Prince music video where it was from his movie where he comes home and he's so mad at his dad because he knows that his dad just like walloped his mom, and he finds his dad playing music. His dad says, never get married. And he was utterly stunned that his dad was playing at all. That's what paused him. But in that scenario, I can't help but feel like Prince was more the parent than the parents. So place this on like your local kid in the neighborhood that's acting out because they don't have that structure. What they are doing, instead of getting that structure from their parent that they need to, in order to feel safe, to know that someone else is going to handle the adulting so they could be the kid, they act out amongst the community. It takes a community to raise a child. So that child is bringing that dysfunction to other individuals in the community, individuals in particular that they see as being capable of giving them that containment because they obviously give it to their kids. And that individual is like, I'm jealous of that. So they start to like pick on that kid. Your kid. Okay, so yeah, definitely someone here can relate to this. What that individual is seeking, that child is needing, is for you to give them a consequence. Because their parents aren't. For you to show that they matter. Their pain matters enough for you to tell them no. And not just say it, but do it. And that could be getting the authorities involved. But to sit them down and explain it to them. We never really leave, like, what is it, like the threes or the fours? Like, we're just always asking why. We never stop needing to know why. The adults around us teach us how and why we perceive the world the way we do, how we fit in it, how to think about it, how to analyze it, how to understand it. They have to share their thought process with us, or we're not going to know. We need, that child needs to be led, is desperate for that. They're in a lot of pain. That's why they're acting out like they are. And it's even more important if this child displays leadership qualities as they now have a bunch of other kids, maybe younger, maybe the same age, that are now following in their footsteps and modeling their behavior. It's even more important then to not look at that child and think you're a lost cause, but to look at them and go, you know what? I care enough about you to give you a consequence, and to tell you why I'm giving you a consequence, to let you know this is on you. It's not on me, it's on you. This is an opportunity, and I care enough to give you that opportunity. But what you do with it, that's on you. I'm not responsible for any decision that you make beyond this point, because that behavior may perpetuate. They may think, oh, well, I'm going to biff it specifically to hurt you to see what you do next. No, you leave it completely on them. You enforce their internal locus of control. And then your hands off. If they come to you later and they have healthy boundaries, they can maybe have another lesson. Maybe you're not open to it, maybe they're not either. But the effort is made. We are a global community, and it takes a community to raise a child. All right, and that was very clear that I was to end the reading at this point. So please do know that this is something that comes through me. Yes, there are some examples from my own life here. They were given to me for a reason, for this reading. Those very scenarios were made to happen so this reading could speak to it, so I could understand and channel that, because I've lived it. A lot of what is in this reading is very volatile, very triggering, and I was reluctant to do the reading. I was reluctant to channel this. But it was very clear that it needed to come through. I do not see myself as anything other than just another individual who happens to be living in this time. I don't see myself as above, better, in any way, shape, or form, So a fair amount of what is here is that. It's channeled. It's not me personally. It's about all of us. It's not about the individual. And I am an individual. And I'm asked to emphasize that. This is not personal. This is about all of us. So, as this individual, the spark of love, light, awakened awareness to the I am, I acknowledge that within each of you, and I value your diversity, and I respect the love within each of you. So the divine within me honors the divine that I know is within you. Namaste. Or a greeting, hello.